ready to go. Fired up. Fired up. Ready to go. All right, I'm Donnell White, your executive director of the Detroit branch, NAACP. If you're feeling good, make some noise. The next generation of leaders. We walk through doors we did not open. We walk across floors we did not have to sweep. We are the beneficiaries of a struggle. We are the next generation. We are the black boys and the white boys. We are the little white girls and black girls and brown girls. We are the next generation. As Dr. King warned us 50 years ago, we must not be maladjusted as new next generation of leaders. We must not be maladjusted when we see violence wreaking our neighborhoods. Because we are the next generation. We are the reason that our ancestors bore the stripes. We are the reason that they stayed on those ships as it came across the mid-Atlantic slave trade. We are the next generation. And let us who have been given so much from those who had so little take the responsibility to stand now for those who have paved the way for us to stand and do better. We are the next generation. As Dr. King said, let us not be maladjusted. And we should be glad that we're not adjusted to things like discrimination, attack on voting rights, attack on labor rights. Right here in the very state of Michigan, if we are not careful, we are on the road to becoming the new Mississippi of old. Oh, let the next generation of leaders stand. Today is our day. Make some noise. I'm proud to bring to the stand, we were gonna introduce this brother as a 2013 Northwestern High School graduate. But when I said, brother, how would you like to be introduced? He said, just introduce me as a walking miracle. It was 3 months ago he was shot in the head, and he's been a living testimony of what the next generation of leaders stands for. Please welcome Brother Bilal Hollings of Northwestern High School.
I only got 2 minutes. I remember 50 years ago, woo, that was a long walk, boy. No, but all jokes aside, it's an extreme honor to be able to walk in the same footsteps. And I got 2 messages, so I got to be quick. I only got 3 minutes. One is to the kids, and one is to the parents. My message to everybody is, if you don't know, I was shot in the head. 2 months later, I was fully rehabilitated. They blew a piece of my brain out. The doctor said I would never walk or talk again, but I stand before you. Obviously, I've broken those barriers. They said I could never ever play football. That was my dream, go to the NFL. But God had another plan, in your ways. And I graduated, yep. I was the senior class president, the student government president, and I was a 6th sport athlete at Northwestern High School. But my message is, the devil tried to take me out, but I told him, because the devil is alive and his grandmama too. Yeah. That's for all you old heads. But anyway, to the kids, they fought so many years ago for us to be able to go to school and do all this stuff. And y'all wouldn't even open the dang on book. Y'all complain about when y'all got to do a book report. Man, they probably would have loved to do a book report. What's his name? I forget what it is, but he was an abolitionist. And he used to trick the kids into teaching them how to count and stuff. He used to say, hey, look at those 5 cows. And they'd be like, no, that's 10 cows. So that's how you learn to count and stuff. But anyways, I want all the youth, 21 and under, to repeat after me. Y'all ready? I will go to college. I will exercise my right. I will vote. I will register to vote. It's important, people die for this stuff. So, you know, we gotta do our responsibility. And to the parents, leave your kids alone. Just because you wasn't a singer, don't tell them that they not gonna be a singer. Don't kill their dreams. Dr. King had a dream, so let them dream. You hating on your seed, cause you ain't win Mr. Northwestern, so you gonna tell him you ain't gonna win Mr. Northwestern? Alright, so another thing, he talked about going to the battle and he begged his parents, please let him fight in the battle. It's not you couldn't fight Goliath. You wasn't strong enough. You wouldn't have made it. You gonna make fun of him because he gonna use a slingshot? Well, he beat Goliath. What have you done? So, but anyways, kids, the Bible say, honor thy mother and thy father that thy days may be long upon the earth. And to everybody, it's a commandment from God. God said, love one another. That's a commandment. So, that's our duty. Lastly, all right, where the youth at? Y'all are not lively. Let's talk numbers. The number 13 in history has a reputation of being a bad number, a satanic number. Friday the 13th. People think the year 13, the number 13 is bad, but we're here to reverse the curse. You know, number 13 also. There was a scientist, Leonardo Fibonacci. He came up with a formula. Thank you. He came up with a formula using the number 13 that creates she cells, bees, plant stems, and everything. So, and also, it's an asteroid belt, and on there it's a red dwarf star. So it's proven. It's that. I talked about being in a hospital. You know this funny stuff. For 3 nights, I had a private room because I got shot. And I had an open sky, I had an open view of the night sky. And I noticed for 3 nights in a row, it was no stars in the sky. Well, Dr. King had a dream, so I figured, well, there ain't no stars in the sky because they sitting all right here in front of me. So I urge you, take your rightful place in the sky because that's where you belong. So we got to do it, man. For the King.
Give it up for Brother Bilal Hollings. Give it up. Brother is doing his thing. Taking a hold of his conditions and situations, please welcome the Chief Operating Officer of the Skillman Foundation, Ms. Tonya Island.
Hey, everybody. For those who are less than we, for those who are less than we, 150,000 people walked 50 years ago for those who are less than we. They walked for me, and I wasn't even born. They had to wait for me 10 years later. And they had to wait for those that are in the audience today 20 years after the march, 30 years after the march, 40 years after the march, or even for my godson, who was born 49 years after the march. They walked every step of the way, demanding justice, demanding equality. They walked in love, they walked in peace, and they walked for prosperity. Today, we walk for those who walk for us, but today we walk for those who will walk in 2063. For those who have yet to be born, for those who have 10 years to go, they have 20 and 30 and 40 years in the making. We demand justice for them, we demand equity for them, and we will love them and promise peace and prosperity. We walk today, but we work tomorrow. Because in 50 years, we will not be talking about fighting a struggle, we will be talking about winning a struggle.
Tonya Island. All right, now let's make some noise for one of Detroit's own recording artists, Dwele.
Detroit, how you doing? That's good, that's good. It's good to see everybody come out, for such a positive event. I do a lot of traveling around the world, and I always find myself defending my city, trying to shine the positive light on the city, because all that they know over in London, over in Paris, even in our own, in our own country, New York and LA, they always say, oh, I heard Detroit is going through a hard time. In situations like this, the fact that people come out for a positive event, the fact that there are cameras, this is being documented, this is a beautiful thing. I thank you for making my job easier. Give yourselves a hand, City of Detroit, NAACP, UAW, definitely. I put my speech together today when I was talking with my little brother. All right, thank you. As much as this walk is a commemorative walk for what happened 50 years ago, I feel like this walk is for the future, just as in 1963 it was about the future. And for a lot of us who weren't part of the walk back then, this walk was the obstacle. But back in 1963, this walk was just a milestone of the true walk that our people were going through. And it's good that the youth get to come out and see and experience this so that we don't forget or negate the progress that we've made, and also to remind us that we need to continue to make progress. This walk is for the future, so teachers, the success of our future relies on the education of our youth. Parents need to be teachers. This is something my little brother told me. He's also a teacher. He said that parents need to be teachers. At home, not all of the education happens in the schools. The children that are most likely to be leaders are constantly learning. It's your job as parents, as young mothers and young fathers, to educate yourself so that we can continue to educate our seeds after the last bell, after the last Friday, before the weekend comes. Educate yourself on Black history and fill in the blanks that the schools has missed. I went to a predominantly white school in elementary, and one thing that always stuck out to me was something that I learned in the classroom. It came out of a history book. And the book said, this is not something that the teacher said, it's something that the book said. It said that one of the requirements to becoming a president of the United States was that you had to be an Anglo-Saxon male. This was in the book, it was written. So this was depressing to me, of course, is what was taught. But when I saw Obama get elected, the first thing that came to me was that they got to rewrite the books now, you know what I'm saying? So all I want to say is, Detroit, let's continue to rewrite history, all right? This is the start. Thank you very much, y'all.
We are the next generation of leaders, and the next generation, we say thank you to Jesse, we say thank you to Al, we say thank you to Reverend Anthony, we say thank you to all of those, to Martin for dreaming, for coming before us. And here to close us out is a true jump major for justice. She is the head of the nation's oldest and boldest, the most feared and revered, the most cussed and discussed organization in this country. The Rosalind Brock, chairwoman of the NAACP.
What's up, Detroit? I know you've been sitting for a long time in the sun, but I just stopped by just for a few moments for us to pause and remember why we march. 50 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King came to the city and he previewed his I Have a Dream speech. But during the meeting, just 11 days on June the 12th, 1963, Medgar Wiley Evers was assassinated in his driveway by a coward right in front of his family. And so just like 50 years ago, we want to pause for just a moment to pay homage and tribute to the legacy and to the life of Medgar Wiley Evers, who was the field secretary in Mississippi for the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization, the NAACP. My friends, when Medgar was cut down, when he was assassinated in the pool of blood, in his hands, he had a box of t-shirts that said, "Jim Crow must go." Now 50 years later, Jim Crow is now James Crow Esquire. But we're still marching down Woodward Avenue saying we ain't scared. We ain't never scared. We need to continue to stand up and be counted. My friends, Mega said that you can kill a man, but you can't kill an idea. That's why we marched this morning. That's why you're sitting in the hot sun saying that you can't kill our spirit, because we've come too far from where we started from. And so we will say to the governor of this state, to the city and the people of Detroit and to the state of Michigan, that courage will not skip this generation. I want you to take out your cell phones. We're gonna go new school. Take out your cell phones and text Detroit to 62227. Detroit to 62227, because we need you now more than ever before. But as I take my seat, I want to leave you the words of Medgar Evers. As we remember Martin Luther King Jr., let us never forget those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. They gave their life. Medgar said these words: if we work with sufficient dedication, we will be able to achieve in the not too distant future a society where no man, no woman, no child is discriminated against on the basis of his race, her religion, or her national origin. Because our faith is invested in a law that is above any man-made law. And we are dedicated to that cause of freedom, because we will continue to fight under God's law without fear of consequence. Detroit, I stopped by just for a moment to say, what do you do when you've done all you can? What you gonna do, Detroit? I see you're sitting down right now. You need to get up and stand and speak truth to power. Courage cannot skip this generation. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to move a little bit. We've been sitting for too long. So you need to get back on the battlefield for freedom, for justice, and equality. Because as the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization has declared for 104 years, we shall not be moved. Like a tree that's planted by the river, we shall not be moved. Continue to stand peace and power. Thank you, Detroit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a few more speakers and then we will be completed with today. We have a couple more entertainment pieces, educational entertainment for you. We know that it's been a day, but it's been a good day. Let's get a Lord a hand praise for a good day. Thank you, God. You're an awesome God. He is perhaps one of the most preeminent leaders of the civil rights movement. He ran for president years ago. He has rescued folk from incarceration in nations across the world. He has registered more people to vote than anybody in American history relative to our condition and our people. He has helped to elect Congress people, mayors, senators, sheriffs, commissioners, presidents. He is known all across the world. You don't even have to say his last name. All you got to do is say Jesse. Let's welcome our friend and our brother, Jesse. The Reverend Dr. Jesse Lewis Jackson, founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition, one of the preeminent lieutenants of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'll give him a big hand. You can do better than that. Jesse Lewis Jackson. Jesse.
Say I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I stand tall. I will not surrender. I march to restore the mayor of Detroit. I marched to restore the City Council of Detroit. I marched to restore democracy, for the right to vote, for the right to elect our officials. We marched too long. We bled too much. We died too young. Restore democracy now. Restore democracy now. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Detroit, let me hear you scream. I want to express sincere thanks to God today for allowing us to gather in this place 50 years later. Stalwarts like Reverend C.T. Vivian, Brother Dick Gregory, who are here today, who marched, yes, even then. The Brother Tony Brown, who was the coordinator of that march 50 years ago. And those who have been, in the real sense, long-distance runners. 1963, the year that we threw it all down. I couldn't make it to march that day. I was in jail in Greensboro, North Carolina, with 1,300 students. We marched. January 12th, Medgar was killed. At the funeral, we marched. In Detroit, in June, led by Reverend C.L. Franklin and Dr. King, we marched. In Washington, in 63, we marched. They blew up the church in Birmingham and killed 4 babies in 63. We marched. They killed 3 young boys in Philadelphia, Mississippi in 63. We marched. They killed John Kennedy in November of 63. We marched. But the power of the blood of the innocent was redeeming. Helped make us a better, stronger, more determined people. Father, we march to change the agenda. If you march without an agenda, that's a parade. We march with an agenda. We march for the right for all Americans to have the right to vote. In Selma, it was not just blacks. Blacks could not vote in Selma. Why was Miss Father Louisa there? Why were Jews and blacks there alike? Because blacks could not vote in the South. White women could not serve on juries. There was no white woman on the Supreme Court in 1965. 18-year-olds, those serving in Vietnam, could not vote. Those students in college could not vote on campus. They could not vote. We could not vote bilingually in 1975. We could not vote. We could not vote proportionally until 1988. We could not vote. We fought to democratize democracy. We come today not as a parade. We come today because there's a state of emergency. This is a state of emergency. We must put the mayor back in the office and send the emergency manager back to Washington. We march. When I consider Jimmy Lee Jackson dying in Alabama, Greene County, about the right to vote, Brother C.T., the thing about march behind the caskets of martyrs, then from Benton Harbor to Detroit, they can take away your elected officials and nullify your vote, and you still focus on who won the ball game last night? I mean, is this Detroit? The home of the Nation of Islam? Is this Detroit? The home of labor militants? Is this the home of Detroit? Is this the home of C.L. Franklin? Is this the home of Albert Clayton? Is this really Detroit? We challenge you today. Today is this is a beginning of the end of the revival of apartheid. This is a state of emergency today. Lest we forget when students cannot get summer Pell Grants and cannot get jobs. We march. When Parent Plus loans put 16,000 students out of black colleges this year alone. We march. When student loan debts, credit card debt, we march. When 2 companies make $2 billion off of prison telephone calls back home to poorest Americans, we march. If we can rebuild Iraq and Afghanistan, it's time to reinvest and rebuild Detroit and Benton Harbor and Memphis and Philadelphia. You mean they're going to lay off 1,000 teachers in Philadelphia and take out athletics, the place where Wilt Chamberlain played, and then build upon it and make another jail and there's silence? You mean that they're going to close down 50 schools in Chicago? If 675 people self-destroy in pain and fear, and we do not fight back, yes, it's time to stand back, stand up, and fight back. It's not enough. We have been blessed with a man of color in the White House. But in 63, we didn't just have a person of choice. We met with the president. We put forth on his desk an agenda. Today we must meet with the president and put forth an agenda. We put him there. We expect him to be our partner in the progress. We bailed out automotive industry in Detroit, and they built plants in China. We bailed out banks, and they left 100,000 homes bankrupt and foreclosed in Detroit. It's time to stand up and fight back. This is a state of emergency. Let's march, not just in Detroit, but march in Memphis, march in Chicago, march in Chicago. Put on your marching feet, stand up and fight back. Bad news is we lose sometimes. The good news is we never lose when we fight back. We've never lost a battle that we fought, and never won a battle unless we fought, so it's time to fight back. We want a federal emergency plan to reinvest in these cities of America. When there's a hurricane in New Jersey, a hurricane there, they invest $50 billion. They don't put the governor out of his office. When New York went bankrupt, they didn't put the mayor and the council out of the council. They reinvested in New York. When there's a tornado in Oklahoma, they don't put the governor out of it. They reinvest it. If you can do it for Oklahoma, do it for New York, and you can do it for Detroit and Flint and Benton Harbor and Benton Harbor. We too sing the American dream. Last, we fight for an economic plan. We need low-interest loans. How did Europe come back? 50-year loans and 2% government secured. And as Tony Brown suggested, don't you let them convince you something wrong with us. Say there's nothing wrong with us. If I have a size 11 foot, the size 8 shoe, nothing wrong with my foot, something wrong with the shoe. There's nothing wrong with us. We came to Detroit to work. We came to Detroit and bought houses. We came to Detroit and educated our children. We came to Detroit, made automotive business the best, and said we came to work. We came to organize, and now we stand up and fight back. Nothing will break our spirits. Nothing will break our spirits. Lives cannot deter us. Graveyards cannot detain us. So we fight back. I know it's dark, but the morning cometh. The Lord is our light and our salvation. Whom shall we fear? It's healing time. Not killing, but healing time. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will heal their land and give them healing. So we keep saying we still dream. We dream today. We dream our mayor will be restored. We dream our city council will be restored. We dream we end the wars abroad and invest at home. We dream for student loans. We dream our capacity to grow and go further and faster. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.